Hello? Hello, hello. Here again. However, my headphones aren't playing anything through them, so I might have to rather anxiously double check that you can hear me and you can hear the music and everything all right. So please let me know when you can. Okay, let's jump on over here. Do. Hello, hello, it's lovely to see you. Oh dear. So yes, hello. I am Blue Moony, fantasy writer and shy magical library in human skin. I'm alright, thank you. I'm alright. I actually I forgot I had washing hanging out on the line until just a few minutes ago. I had to rush out just before starting the stream to grab it all in. The weather here can change at the drop of a hat. So I definitely don't want it hanging out all night. So if I sound a bit out of breath, that'd be why. Sorry about that. Oh dear. Everything outside looked weirdly unreal. I know I'm tired, but wow. And even without that, there is something inherently creepy about doing the washing under a near full moon. I guess another problem with that particular washing line is that it is really old and the lines are very low hanging. So it would be a very easy thing to garrot myself if I forget to duck. Which would be very unpleasant and far easier to accomplish when in the dark and in a hurry. And I was both. Oh dear. But yes, honestly, I'm feeling a little bit down because I don't like the idea of creating anything that isn't enjoyable due to quality. I mean, even now I'm seeing that buffering is popping up now and then, even though it insists I have an excellent connection, so I'm not sure why that's happening. Yesterday's stream was pretty awful due to the internet issues. I've done what I can to remedy that today, but there's no guarantee it'll be any help, and it's not looking very hopeful right now with these small instances of buffering kicking in every few seconds, it looks like. Even though it claims I have an excellent connection, so I have no idea what's happening there. I'm so sorry. It's worrying to think that the quality of these streams will be so utterly random depending on how the internet around here decides to behave. And it's something I really wish I had more control over, and I'll do what I can to find out what more control I can take back over this situation. But I'm the opposite of tech savvy, so it's rather daunting. I've also had some feedback that my audio in general is a bit buzzy. If anyone else is experiencing this, can you please let me know? I'll do my best to look into it, but again, it worries me that I may not be able to look into it until perhaps even well after NaNoWriMo, as with the schedule I've got planned, combined with my everyday life schedule, I've got no real time to do anything else. Not even, I would have liked to do some more planning for this stream today and get some more notes in order and find a few things I wanted to talk about that I'm excited about including in the story, but I just didn't get a chance. I'm sorry I'm not more prepared. I took the small one out during most of the afternoon and got entirely too much sun. Thankfully I'm not burnt, at least I don't think I am, and I'm pretty sure she's not either. We washed ourselves in sunblock. Oh dear. But yes, I really don't know why all this random buffering is popping up when apparently the connection is good. I did upgrade my internet. I'm on earbuds, so regarding the audio I didn't hear any problems. Thanks for that. I'll keep that in mind. Oh, now I've completely forgotten what I was saying. Why do I have to be so scatty about everything? It's not just that it's late and I'm tired. I'm in an almost permanently scatty state no matter what the time of day. Maybe upping your noise gate. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that. I'll look into it. Oh dear, where was I? Sun. Bathing in sunblock. But before that... Oh dear. It's probably just more of my bemoaning the quality of these streams and hoping they're not too awful to watch, but... about putting to sleep your cat. Yeah. I'm complete and utter blank. Yes, that's what I was thinking. If today's stream turns out to be anything along the lines of yesterday's in terms of being virtually impossible to watch, please don't spend your time just waiting and not understanding anything that's happening just due to the quality of the stream. I don't want people to feel they have to watch anything that can't be enjoyed for whatever reason. I mean, with any luck, the VODs will be in better condition, but yeah, there's that audio worry there. Oh dear. I suppose another option that I briefly considered, if streaming just becomes impossible due to the lag or buffering or anything, maybe I could always consider just still trying to write live and narrate through the process, but just recording it and then uploading it as a video. But then, the interaction's not there, which is, what makes it fun. What makes, writing live a special thing. Started after a certain hour. Oh, that's unsettling. Well, in case I don't notice, if you think of it, could you please let me know if quality starts to go downhill and the lag starts to get ridiculous, because it may just be, it would be better to wrap up rather than subject you to more of that. We'll see how it goes. So, let's push on. Yeah, I had thought about putting today, which is going to be a slightly weird day, I guess, in terms of planning. I'd thought about initially putting it, after 4 days of intensive planning and just before Nano started, but I thought it might make a little more sense to go first, given I'm going to be going into just general random events I'd like to pop in there. So two main aims for today, and that's listing arcs, subplots, and just random events that I've thought of so far, which I would like to include and will help shape the story when I still don't have a ridiculously clear, idea of where things are going, particularly after the first part. And some of these we would have touched on talking about the characters and the world building, but go into some of them in a bit more detail here. Also, any well-loved tropes that I'd like to throw in. I can't think of too many right now, but I'm sure, there's a few that are already naturally baked in, I guess. And if you have any favourite tropes, let me know and I'll see what I can do. But, yes. Please remember, I'm not aiming to do too much with romance in this story, so I don't think any tropes along the lines of they were roommates or there's only one bed will really work in this story. I could even do a little bit of little bit of trope research just while we're here. Could be fun to grab a few things to work in there. And another thing, if we have time, although we probably won't, will be to brainstorm a few ways to build and show chemistry between the characters. And, you know, I don't really think about this enough. I've started trying to do it more. Oh, I will. Sorry, that popped up a while ago. I only saw the thumbs up, but thank you so much. Thanks. Yes, I'm only really started trying to think about little things that people do to show the strength of their friendship or their sibling connection or, you know, their romance. The little things they can do to show that. And I've started thinking about it more lately, and so I really hope it works in my main project. Because I've been writing that one for a long time, and it would be very disheartening to think that, you know, I'm not giving people enough with the relationships. Like, I like it when people can tell these characters are close. These characters have been, you know, best friends forever. If any tropes pops up, I'll mention it. Thank you. Tropes are fun. Just don't consciously think about them as I'm writing. And I'm sure they do just pop up naturally because, you know, I'm familiar with a few. Where am I? Oh yes, I just had another note here, just again on the romance. Why do I have to keep coming back to it? I suppose it's just because so many books in the genres that I tend to read have so much emphasis on it. And when I don't, it worries me a little bit. But we do kind of have two romances, at least. The big one between two support characters and also the cute mutual kid crush. So since we've only got those, we've got to make them good. Moving on, I'd also like to build up the solid collection of, you know, little events, either small-sized, medium-sized, kind of like prompts to push the story forward? What happened there? Why did I pronounce an R? I don't pronounce R's. I'm Australian. That help push the story forward if I'm a bit stuck or if I'm worried things are getting a bit boring. So, time to dream up some prompts. And again, honestly, the only one I can think of is character falls down, hence the title of this video. Excuse me, sorry. Given I haven't planned nearly as much as I wanted to for this stream, I have absolutely no idea of any others, so this will take some brainstorming. I'll probably have to do a few quick searches for inspiration. Yeah, aberrant weather is always another reliable thing to kick a story forward, but, you know, I'm already planning to do, you know, big aberrant weather events. So, dear, I want enough of these prompts so I can sort of lucky dip them if we run into trouble, just to have some fun. I'll probably allow myself 3 draws just in case the first one doesn't work. Give myself that level of leeway, at least. Actually, I'm wondering it'd be better to do this, thinking up a few prompts first. We don't have to think of too many. Just a few, and then hopefully I can add to the list as I think of them randomly. Oh dear, because I don't have sound of stuff going on. I've left the opening music running. Let's just mute that and unmute this. Hopefully that sounds better. Not that my opening music isn't absolutely gorgeous, but we need this. The quieter, more contemplative, better for brainstorming music. I'm hoping it's playing. I can't hear it, but I'm hoping you can. I just messed up connecting my headphones today. Did I mention I'm the opposite of tech savvy? And yet here I am. I will learn. Okay, yes, so I was wondering whether to try to think of some prompts first, and then afterwards, just in a nice and casual way, just a bit of a chat about a few things, a few random conversations or events that I've thought of that I'd like to add. So I'll be going through my notes to try to grab them. As I said, I'd wanted to organize, but wasn't able to find the time today. I suppose that'll make it a bit easier when we're just writing in Nano, because there's not really anything I can prepare. It's just go. Just go. Well, with any luck, I can at least, over the next 4 days, tomorrow onwards, get the story in order and pull all my notes in order, so the writing will hopefully go a bit smoother. Okay, so as well with the just back to technical stuff quickly, because it is worrying me so much. Are you getting much buffering at the moment, or is this just something weird going on between my streaming software and YouTube? Let me know when you can, and we shall jump on over to Scrivener. Here we are, here we are. Here we are. It all seems fine so far, no buffering. Okay, so that is just strange stuff happening between my streaming software and my YouTube. That's of significant relief to me. That's really good to hear. Thanks. Okay, so I have very eloquently titled this note Stuff to Include, and that's not the note I want. So let's go back to the prompts one. Okay, so first prompt, the classic character falls down, trips over, impacts with ground for some reason. Also notice that around the time the stuttering began, your chat on screen froze. Okay. Yes, I did I don't remember if I said I did upgrade my internet today, and it seems it kicked in. The bigger speeds kicked in early, because when I looked into it, my speed seemed to be fine, but the ping was atrocious. So I'm hoping the better speed will improve the ping as well. I read that should happen, so with any luck. I also changed my setting to ultra low latency, so that may help with something. Maybe. Okay, prompts. Character falls down, trips over, impacts with the ground for some reason. You know, could be punched, could faint. Oh dear, feline dashing around. She should be fine, hopefully. She got her cuddles. Okay, and the only other one I could think of was small weather event that, you know, encourages characters to seek shelter. Just to change the scenery. Could push things forward in some way. So with these prompts, I'm guessing the most likely place I'll be needing them is all through the middle section, because the first part one is fairly well planned out. There's a lot that needs to happen, and I know in some way, at least for the big things, what's going to be happening. I should perhaps try to think of some small sort of things, because I may need some help with Liot in some places, because most of the notes I have for him for the first part are fairly general, just, you know, becoming accustomed to the world and learning these new things. Seeking shelter in some caravan or old facility that can explore for resources. That's a good thought. I'll add this to the seeking shelter. Yeah, I suppose it would be fun if they find a facility from the old days, or if Briok knows one is nearby, because he'd know the canyon very well by now. And I think even Min would probably know it reasonably well. At least anything that she could know, she would know, because she would have read it. Oh dear. So yes, I'll probably need a few thoughts for random stuff that could happen in the Chosen One's world to help there. But I'll mostly be needing things for the canyon journey, for both the main trio there, the pursued, and also the hunting party. And I suppose any random prompt could work for both, because they're both in kind of the same situation. Oh dear. So, what are just random, everyday events? Oh, just seeing an animal haven't seen before. Min would get pretty excited. Yeah, that could, something like that could spark a conversation to build up the relationship between Min and Briok, and possibly, a bit more resentment from Citra towards Briok, because we'll definitely have to have that building up, because I don't want her to leave over one stupid thing. It's just a constant build up of negative feelings, particularly for Briok, but for the whole situation that they're in now. And the build up, and then just eventual cracking and having a massive argument. I kind of like the idea that when that happens, she doesn't leave initially, she sort of storms off, and Min would try to go to comfort her or to bring her back, but there'd just be a bit more of a muted argument, probably mostly on Citra's part. And if she goes to wander off again, she says she's just going to go look for food or explore, but in the morning she hasn't come back. Although we know she would have been acting very much in a state of passion here, because it's a pretty stupid thing to leave, given she's probably the one least likely to last alone out there. I mean, Briok's been doing it for ages, and Min's been learning a lot from him, and already knew a fair amount from her reading. So yes, we are going to have to think about I know we're not going to see it firsthand, but we've still got to figure out what's happening with Citra while everything else is happening. But not near there yet. I suppose I'll try to remember to throw that down in stuff to include soon. Just heard a strange noise from outside. I'm guessing it's my sweet feline getting into mischief. Oh yes, I was worried the small one was about to wake up just before the stream started. I was wondering whether I had to go and grab my phone and prepare a tweet saying, we're going to be a bit delayed due to small one. But she rolled over and went back to sleep. Thank you, darling heart. Oh dear. Okay, so seeing an animal I haven't seen before. Min would get pretty excited. Could probably use that one more than once, because I think another trait for Min would be that she is reasonably excitable. I already put down the, appreciation of the beauty of small things, but also, seeing the wonder in the mundane seems like it's, something for Min. I have kind of used that for a few other characters, because I think it's a beautiful trait, and one that I think a lot of people probably have that's sort of overlooked a bit. But this could just be me reading things in nothing. I like the trait anyway, and I'm allowed to use it for more than one character, as long as they're in different books. Maybe that can become another one of my staples, my trademarks. Okay. I suppose this is a more important sort of event than a minor one, because it will affect where things are kind of going with the story. But yeah, running out of food through no fault of their own. So some sort of accident or something. I might just add a probably there. Because I don't think any of them would be the type to, eat more than their share because they're hungry. Citra's really generous and very, there's the right way to do things, and rule abiding by her rules, which would include not eating more than your share. And yeah, I can't. The only one who could possibly do that would be Min by accident. So I suppose that's a possibility. On the chosen one side, it'd be a lot more social setting, dealing in schmoozing and politics, given he's now dealing in high society. Oh yeah, and he would loathe that so much. Poor kid. I'll just start a separate section for Liot related ones. I almost forgot, with my language I've put the emphasis on the second syllable, so I need to make sure I'm pronouncing the names. So it's not Liot, it's Liot. Min is easy. Citra is a bit harder to throw the emphasis on the correct syllable, but I'm doing my best. Lolai, that's much easier. Brioche? Yeah, I've been saying brioche, it would be brioche. I suppose I can always just change the language and make the emphasis on the first syllable if we think it sounds better. Let me know what you think on that possibly very mundane, simple issue. But, which do you like better? Liot or Liot? Brioche or brioche? Okay, so chosen ones stuff. Politics. Schmoozing. So a particular event could be Liot is in this situation where he's supposed to, sort of brown nose someone of a higher rank. I suppose if... how would it work? So it'd probably just be in a normal, wound up in a conversation. Just someone started a conversation with him and he has to try to sort out, sort of like using honorifics in Japanese, I guess, something along those lines. And I suppose it's exactly the same in other societies, just changing how you address someone due to how much, why is this word evading me? Well, how much higher up the ranks they are than you. Simply, yeah. Has to try to humble himself, raise them up in a hurry. Or, I think more likely, he just doesn't know to do it and makes himself an enemy or something. That might make more sense. Social status, yeah. Why can't I think of these simple words? I'm a writer and I can't speak my own language at an optimal level. I'm sure I can, under other circumstances. Status. Okay. So he just doesn't know how to do it and makes himself an enemy. And possibly... so I'm guessing this would be another child, probably just a year older than him, because I want them to... Because that will give us more to deal with later, you know. Just revenge getting, will clashing, and Liot just not dealing with it very well. Although this is starting to feel more like something that's we've got to add in there as opposed to just a random prompt to pull us out. So I may wind up just shifting this over to stuff to include. Let's see. Maybe something to do with food, given it's all new. I don't know, a random snack time and he's just astounded by the food or something. Possibly back up here running out of food, possibly men accidentally eating more than her share. It's definitely nothing she'd do on purpose, but it would cause friction. And yes, again, could have us doing some foraging. So 2 of these random prompts would just lead to more foraging, but I suppose out in the canyon with minimal resources, that we're going to have to do a lot of that anyway. I'm thinking Brioc's probably got a lot of stuff stashed around as well, so maybe not just foraging, but looking for stashes. I suppose I can throw this one in as a prompt to put in without having to plan it in advance. So although I suppose a good way to use the prompts as well is just in the planning the story chapter by chapter. I mean, because in that sort of planning, I pretty much like to go into everything that's going to happen in the chapter. And so I'm guessing that's why I haven't really used prompts a huge amount, because I've got everything planned out in so much detail beforehand. So yeah, these prompts will probably be even more useful when planning it out. So yes, I can throw this down here, which makes, you know, throwing this over here a little redundant. We can throw that back here. Back we go. So I was thinking of something. Oh yes. I suppose you can always throw the idea of bandits in there. I was thinking some sort of macro fauna incident, a need to escape or fight very large creatures. I had thought about filling the canyon with monsters. I am rather partial to monsters. They make significant appearances in many of my stories, and I suppose that's why I was trying to lean away from monsters as such and more towards, you know, the idea of macrofauna instead, which I suppose some could consider monsters. But I think I just wanted to have a different feel from the monsters in my main project and the monsters that appear in other projects, and the I suppose fey beasts I consider different to monsters, and they appear in other books. So large, scary animals, pointy teeth and claws and spikes. I love them, but might keep them slightly more grounded in reality here, if I can. So scorpions are on the card. Giant scorpions, definitely. They could be there. Giant wolves, maybe, although maybe not giant wolves. Giant snakes. I've got snake-like monsters and other things, but I suppose it's fine to have them. I still kind of like the idea of when my main projects come out, for people who don't know anything about the stories, for the monsters suddenly appearing to be a little bit of a surprise. Like, leading up in that story, you don't quite know when they first appear that there are going to be monsters, because Kaz is very surprised when this happens, and he thought he was prepared for what he was going into. He was not. So yes, we'll try to contain myself to large creatures of a slightly more realistic nature in this story, maybe. Yes, maybe not snakes. Scorpions on the cards. Worms definitely on the cards. Maybe just keep them as insects? I don't know. I do have a fair number of insect-like monsters, but they are different. I'm allowed to write about monsters in different stories, I suppose. Oh yes, this isn't really, on topic, but had a bit more of a think about a little bit of the world building we did yesterday, and I've decided I don't want it to be a red canyon. I want it to be a golden yellow canyon. So the cities are golden yellow and steel instead of red and steel, because I realized that I pinched the red from another story and I still want it in that one. So, and a golden sparkling city straddling a canyon is, a pretty mental image. And I think I'd like the idea more of the Chosen One's facilities sort of sweeping along the top and the front down into the canyon, instead of having lower and upper city as such, more inner and outer. And the outer is the nicest space because it's got all the windows and all open and beautiful, sweeping down into the canyon, whereas everyone else is sort of stuffed in behind them or something. And that way it would still look very, very pretty on the outside, and sort of hiding everything else. Not that I know who they're looking pretty for besides themselves, but gold and silver tones pretty. I thought so too. Though I'm probably thinking too much about it, but I'm wondering, how did they build this after the apocalyptic event? But I suppose I did say there's several hundred years between that event and this moment. So they have plenty of time and motivation to build themselves up fairly quickly. And even though most of the history was lost, I'm guessing they must have managed to cling on to an awful lot of technology somehow. Oh dear. Okay. More random events. Oh, water bottle breaking? That's just mean. They don't have to be mean events. They can be nice ones too. Suppose we could always meet someone, or meet someone on the road who's, just to get some news. Meet someone on the road. Initially, hide. See no obvious city affiliation, because anyone from the cities in there there'd be soldiers, they'd be in uniform. I suppose unless they were going in disguise to try to catch them, which I suppose would be one good reason why they would stay hidden for so long. But, possibly this person needs help. And pretty much all three of these guys, they're a bit soft-hearted. Not that, you should be you need to be soft-hearted to help someone, but all of them would want to help. I mean, Citra and Brioc would probably, agree that it would be better not to help, but I think Min would be just She'd walk out there when she saw they needed help. Min breaks cover. Oh, Min. I've probably said it before, but it's pretty funny that the whole setup of the story is that it's impossible for Min to be a protagonist, yet she is our protagonist. That's the joke. Yeah. I suppose the argument is fate particles indicate people will have an impact on the world as a whole, a big impact. It doesn't mean you can't have an impact on other people's lives, which I'm guessing is going to wind up as some sort of moral of the story. I don't really think about morals. I don't think about much when I'm writing except the characters and the relationships and the story. Everything else just sort of weaves itself in there as we go. So yeah, I guess with the fate particles and claiming that someone's going to have no impact on the world, well, you know, what's really wrong with that? What's wrong with living quietly and, you know, doing little things that might not affect the world but affect one person? Sounds like a pretty good life to me. Yeah. Oh dear. Probably more profound than I meant to get at this hour. Okay. More random events. Oh, maybe just add here some stuff that could happen. Get news, get warning, get supplies. Possibly promise of future help. Or of spreading, or perhaps they could help spread rumors for the rebellion. Forcing moral of the story is worse, so better not to think about it. Yeah, I've never liked thinking about it. I sort of just ran into that by accident right then. So yeah, I don't think I'm forcing it now that I've just randomly thought of it. It's just, it feels like it still worked its way in there organically. If at any point it feels like I'm trying to, you know, force a lesson or something, just give me a gentle whack over the head or something. Because I don't like doing that. One of my earlier novels, reading back over it a few years later, I was horrified by how preachy some of the parts sounded. It was awful reading it. I was like, yep, I'm definitely going to have to fix this. This is not happening. I can understand. Oh, rebellion? Not the rebellion, the rebellion. Yes. There is nothing wrong with having a moral, but if it's just there to be shoved down people's throats, and if it's the whole reason for writing this story, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it, no. Okay. Might just try to think of a few more before talking about a few things I'd like to include. What is it? I thought of one today that I was pretty excited about, related to Liot actually, so that's good. More stuff for him is good. But I think it was just more of a conversation. But just a few more things if I can think of them. I suppose just Ryok starts teasing Citra, because he knows he's going to get a rise out of her. And he's a good guy, but he can't help himself sometimes. Reactions can do wonders for people's well-being sometimes, I guess. Less so for the other person's well-being, unless they are of fairly good humour, which Citra has less and less of these days. Excuse me, sorry. Whenever I try to think of something else, all I think about is trips over, falls over. Someone gets punched and falls over. We don't need to do the fall over one more than once. Twice at the absolute most, and they'd have to be for totally different reasons. Lose something of sentimental value and try to go back and look for it. Other stuff that can happen in the desert. Ooh, rock slides. Oh, water rising. Yep. Because remember, this is going to affect the journeying quite a lot. There's generally quite a lot of water at the bottom of the canyon. So either they have to stay out in plain sight on the road, which in some places it's fairly safe to do, or they have to stick to the very edges, which is where any settlements would be. Not all of them friendly. And I suppose at some points they can travel through tunnels, but definitely not all the way. So we will have some variety in journeying. I suppose just thing is switch up mode of journey. Road, edges of the canyon. I suppose walls of the canyon is also an option. Walls of the canyon and tunnels. So yes, if we get stuck, force them to make a change. I suppose it should be fairly easy to think of a way to force them to make a change. For example, if the canyon gets too narrow and there's been a rock slide or something, if they can't climb over it, they'll have to go back and go through some tunnels that, I'm guessing weren't overly safe, otherwise they would have used them. Should probably pop that down as find a temporary companion. Yes. Okay. Companion. A pet or a person. I was wondering about some kind of wolf dog type thing, but I think I was more leaning towards having it with the hunter's party with Liot, because Liot needs some company maybe. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Stretch. Oh, I should add to my notes that I should stretch before streaming. My posture and my neck and my shoulders are permanently unhappy with me. Speaking about body being unhappy, I get dehydrated very easily because I forget water exists. I can get a little bit fixated on things sometimes and forget that, yes, drinking water is a necessary thing. Pet or person. No, we don't have to think of it now. I would like whatever temporary companions they have to have, even if it's a minor impact, still a significant impact on the journey or the story. I suppose betrayal is an option. But, ah, dear. I suppose there could always be, could be a spy in disguise as well. Could be, that could be because I kind of like the idea of the hunting party kind of catching up to them several times and there being conflict several times, but them getting away. So possibly this could be one of those times. Okay. Like I haven't given enough to Liot again. You've been sighing less too, the way progress. Thank you. I mean, hopefully that's just a sign I'm getting a little bit more comfortable. Possibly less tired. I don't know. Less hopeless, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit more cheerful because I'm seeing the story taking a bit more shape. I also randomly met another VTuber writer, so I'm fairly excited about speaking to them more when we get to do that. I'm very slightly intimidated because they seem to be already fairly well established. So I'm looking forward to reading some of their stuff. Should be lovely. It's nice that there's more of us. I always knew there were a few, maybe only one who was really quite successful, but I'm sure there's room for lots of us. There's room for us. We can take VTubing to different places, and it'll be lovely. Okay, yes, might jump over to stuff to include now. I'll keep thinking about this and try to add some more. But I'm kind of liking more now the idea of focusing on using these to shape the story during the planning stage as opposed to, to pull us out of a particular rut if we get stuck when writing. Because I'm hoping it'll be fairly impossible to do that if I have the whole, as much of the story crafted beforehand as possible. Well, every main event that I want to happen there and ideas of how to get it there. And I guess these are ideas of how to get places. Okay, stuff to include. I don't think I wound up writing down the one I thought of today because I didn't get a chance. This morning it was all house chores, and this afternoon we were out. So means I didn't get to do the reading for people I wanted to do as well. I've got 2 things that I want to read for different people, and I haven't got to either of them yet, and I feel awful about it. I'm a terrible beta reader due to lack of time. Okay. I'm going to, on my own notes, go over here. But yes, I didn't actually write down the main thing I thought of today, so I'll try to get it down now as close to what I thought. This was for the first part, for the conversation between Liot and the politician who's decided to, start up a faction for Liot. Prompts might come easier as the story begins as you establish a formal causality. I don't know if that makes sense. It kind of makes sense. I think I know what you mean. Yes. So as we get going, yes, I think I got you. I'm just terrible at phrasing things. Okay, so why are we bolded? I don't want to be in bold. No bold, please. And bigger so we can read it. And where is my lovely Garamond? Come to me, Garamond. Come to me, Garamond. Thank you. Oh dear. Conversation between Liot and... I think I called the politician Noel, but I'll still call him the politician for now. While Liot is recovering after... I'm guessing it's some kind of anxiety attack. Which occurred, right? Occurred after he lost his temper for the first time. Something along the lines of... let's see if I can remember. I really want to remember. It sounded so good in my head. So you found out you have a temper. How does it feel, judging by your current state? Blah, blah, blah. I'd had him saying something else afterwards. Something about a lot of them sort of finding out new things about themselves, being put under this kind of pressure, and talking about, you know, a lot of us, so making the inclusive statement, trying to get Liot on his side and feel closer right at the beginning. So none of this will be phrased right. I'm just trying to get down the notes so I remember them. I don't want it to be being put in this situation. I'll think of a much better way to phrase it. Probably in, you know, draft 4 or something. And I do want him to bring up that he wants to back Liot's confusion, some explanation about the factions within the city, etc. Mention of, for want of a better term, the prime chosen one, Liot, say he thought that was Trouse. Some kind of small sneer from the politician, but so fleeting. Liot, half convinced, imagined it, because I kind of want the politicians. Another word I can never spell. Demeanor. Be very friendly, approachable. Friendly and approachable. Born people pleaser kind of politician. No, some small praise for Trouse before saying, you know, as he's grown, become more apparent that, you know, he's not what was promised. Sounds something like that. He's not. So it doesn't work in an optimal fashion to, you know, meet our goals, sort of thing. I hear my feline at the door. Poor thing. It's all right, honey. Maybe a few more cuddles before bed. I'm not sure I thought of anything else for this particular one. I did think of something else for Liot and the Chosen Ones. What's the word for it? Just with the Chosen Ones will do. And that's, there's some kind of event show to assign guardians choose their new chosen ones, because I kind of like the idea of Liot's soon to be There. One guardian showing reasonable contempt at the idea of being his guardian. No, on TV. And I like that he could bring up his guardian to the politician. Politician would promise it's all an act. Everything else he does, all designed for your well-being, sort of thing. Sorry, I'll be adding a lot of sort of things in brackets. So yes, this could be something that happens. It would be really quite early on. Could work. Oh yeah, I had another thought for the first chapter showing Leot in his new environment, starting off with some sort of interview asking what he can do, skills, talents, such. Interviewer not being impressed. Yeah, something like that could work, I think. And straight after being delivered to room and teachers, sort of thing. That sort of thing is understandable. Okay. Let's see. No, sorry. You can't see it. I'm messing with my windows by accident. Moving down. I'm pleased at least that the connection seems to be much better today. I'm hoping that's due to upgrading my internet, and that'll be the end of it. And, it's worth $10 extra a month, I guess. I guess when I got the internet plan that I had, I'm guessing I hadn't 100%, I wasn't 100% convinced I would go through with this. I think I still wasn't 100% convinced until possibly the 10 minutes before I hit go live for the first time. Yeah. All in all, we'll see what happens, but I'm not sure how well my personality is just gonna hold up as a live streamer. But I suppose, so many different things can impact a person and where their streaming activities go. So I think I am enjoying it to a degree. No, feelings of joy or can't wait to start yet, but maybe that'll come once more of the anxiety wears off. Or maybe if I get lost enough in the writing, or if the writing goes well enough, I'll start to, be wanting to start stream an hour early or something. But we will see. Let's keep going. Yes. Doopy-doop-boo-doop-boo. Just going backwards through my notes because it might be easier to find things that way that I'd like to throw up here. Oh yes. I thought more about the circumstances of Briok leaving. I know we're not going to see much of it, but it'll definitely be brought up and it will be important. I'm guessing he was backstabbed by someone meant to be his supporter. You know, he probably would have had a very big faction backing him. But I'm guessing Fig? No, had a big faction supporting him, but eventually decided by, you know, the real people in charge that he was too much trouble. I kind of like the idea that he was, you know, kidnapped and tossed into a megafauna pit. Because as we know, Brioche is my favourite and we have to make him suffer. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, but also he escaped the pit and returned to demand satisfaction. Yeah, probably doesn't know that it was the higher ups who ordered this. Stays a little while, but quickly becomes even more disgusted by the whole system. Reason they thought he was too much trouble is he openly questioned pretty much anything, anywhere. And I like the idea that, you know, he left with a lot of, in his city, lower city people. And I kind of like the idea that they sort of have a few settlements throughout. And possibly that's what formed a number of settlements there. Because people do leave, it's, you know, there's travelers, there's settlements, they're separate from the cities, but they all would have come from the cities. And I think, you know, in general, they're kind of left alone, because I don't think it's illegal to leave the cities as such. It's just, you know, better not to, because you'll die out there, sort of thing. It's not like they're short on population. I suppose it's not a good look. So, yeah, there is a lot of resentment towards him, and that was even before he joined the resistance. Oh dear. And that sort of leads me to another thought that I'd had for more canyon travel stuff, which is good because that's where we need the most stuff. The middles are the bane of so many authors' existences. Existences. Yes, I thought, did I get this? Did I actually take a more detailed note with this? I thought I did. Yeah, here we are. So, come across small settlement. Well, it wouldn't just be come across, it would be they'd make for it intentionally. Small settlement. Friendly to Brioche. So perhaps mostly people who left his city with him. City soldiers arrive. The 3 hide. What is it? Take forced fate readings of young people and try. And make to forcibly take someone back. Brioche, a bit dramatic. I guess we're doing this, aren't we? So the trio What have I got here? Well, take out the soldiers. Haven't decided the specifics yet, but they deal with the issue. That's probably a better way to do it. Deal with the issue. And maybe make it seem like an opposing city is trying to claim them. Make out that they've been undercover scoping out this kid for months, ruined our mission. Though they know it won't be long before it's figured out who they are. So at least if they, instead of just, you know, fighting them, if they make it seem like they were from another city, it, you know, at least probably makes the settlement will be safer because, you know, they won't have been helping outlaws then. And it gives them a bit more time. And also, I don't know how realistic it is, but I kind of like the idea of the rebellion trying to be as tidy as possible. They are planning this over years and years and years as carefully as possible with the hope of as little bloodshed as possible. So they only want to, you know, fight as such when it is absolutely necessary. They don't want bloodshed. I'm vaguely going that route in another story as well, although there is an awful lot of bloodshed in that story. Still as little as possible. Could have been so much worse. Yeah, so that's another reasonable sized event that can happen in the desert. I suppose then there's also the possibility that the hunter team tracks them to the village soon. They figure out what's happened. What did I think? Just thinking about the hunter team again, I was wondering if you remember from outlining, maybe not, but maybe that yeah, when they the hunter team finally does capture, it'll be just Min and Brioc at that point, and the child. Oh, she's got a name, Nue. After several failed attempts. We're going to have some fun thinking of the failed attempts, aren't we? Oh, it could be fun. We're going to have to use the environment. I love making good use of the environment to characters' advantage. And Brioc, you know, Lalaya's very good, but Brioc's been out there for a long time. Is it the infiltration of institutions alongside with institutional change via the education regenerate takes about 50 years. Okay. And I suppose it's good then that this story isn't aiming to sort of bring about the revolution just in this one story over a reasonably short amount of time. It's not realistic, but they can start the change and they can make an impact. Including, I think I decided that, you know, a huge number of the chosen ones leave at the end, along with a large population of all of the cities, because it's all orchestrated across the 5 cities for everything to happen at once. You know, they have to move it up very quickly to sort of do it while rescuing people and such, but yes, it will deal a huge blow to the system. And figure out what's going on after they do catch them. Oh, wait, I forgot to, I suppose it's not huge a prompt, but I think I want them to run into assassins before that last time, so suppose another important one is run-ins with bounty hunters. Because, yeah, Min and Citro probably have reasonable bounties on their heads. And this city wouldn't have kept it quiet. They want them back. So, they wouldn't have said why they wanted back, but, all the cities know. Oh dear. So this thing comes for nowhere, lie, intervenes. And then I had, an alliance from other cities intervening. I was kind of thinking that it could be, including people from their city. Maybe I should just, number the cities for now, and I'll give them proper names later. That might work for the planning, at least. Well, I'll think about that later. And I think the people from the city, possibly even the politician, could he be there? I know he doesn't really seem like a field guy, but maybe he is. Looks can be deceiving. And sort of, insinuates that Elia has failed miserably. So she would probably be placed under some kind of arrest here. Oh, can't be house arrest because they're out in the canyon and then another city, but not locking her up as such, but under observation, not free to go about her own business, sort of thing. Well, back under some kind of arrest here. I really need to figure out how it's going to work with the hunter team, because I've mostly been thinking about Min and Citra and Brioc. But they'll, we'll be with Liot and Lalaya half the time, so definitely need to think more about them too. So I suppose a lot of the stuff with them will be just learning slowly about Lalaya and her situation. And, her hunting them and more travel, but stuff has to happen. I think it's got to be mostly sort of conversation and stuff for them, really. I'm hoping it'll come to me as we go, because it's going to be really, an action with Min and the others, and a reaction from the hunter and Liot. Remembering as well that Liot's got Trouse in his ear almost constantly, feeding him information to help lead the hunter astray. So yes. But Olai is very good at what she does. Don't need that butt there. That butt needs to go later. Lai is very good at what she does, but she's also desperate. So I kind of like the idea of the politicians sort of, getting Liot on the hunter team you know, there's a lot of reasons, but I kind of like the idea that he wanted to sort of make it look like Liot was the one who caught them. So I need to figure out how to make that work. Because we know the whole idea of sending Liot is to try to build up support for him and build his faction to challenge Trousers. So, you know, making a big production and story out of this. But I suppose the problem is, you know, I mean, the whole thing is being filmed, but it's not live. And so maybe there's been a whole lot of creative editing that they're not aware of. That seems likely. Oh dear. This seems important. What did the politicians say to the leaders to convince them to agree to sending Liot? That might take some thinking. I mean, I know he's got a very, very high fake count, but other than that, on paper, he's not very impressive yet. I mean, I know there's the whole, you know, their family. And so I suppose it could just be, you know, to create the really good show and stuff and please the people and, you know, making out that Min has betrayed Liot sort of thing and he's has to go after her himself sort of thing. All for the drama. Still doesn't seem like enough. Has to be very clever to... I mean, I know we're not going to see him doing it, but we're probably going to hear exactly what he did, either from him or from... probably from the Liar's Guardian, who is currently nameless now that I have given the name Citra to Citra. Yes. Well, I need to throw this in here now. I don't remember if I wrote it down. I really want significant stuff to happen with Lolaya and Citra. I just really want them to work together. And because neither of them have points of view, we need Liot to be there as well. So I need to figure out a way to orchestrate that because I really want that. Not sure why. They are reasonably... They've got a fair number of similarities in personality. A few notable differences, but they are quite similar and probably going to clash a lot. So I just really want them to be forced to work together. And as you can possibly tell, I still haven't changed the batteries in my mouse, so it's getting even choppier. Oh yes, I have a note here that I would have taken yesterday for a very early scene. I think this is how I thought of Liot being good with numbers, is that Liot's stressing over money, not all here. Think we've been robbed. ETC. Grandparent admit to spending some money on gambling. Oh grands. Oh grands. You know, saying something along the lines of miracles need a nudge. And I don't need to call him little bro anymore. He's Liot. Even Liot sounds like little bro. It works. Crestfallen. Poor thing. Grand, no, we can't afford miracles. Trying to figure out how to make up for the shortfall. Goes to remove something from the budget that was for him. Men step in. Not a chance. Kid, let me be the big sister now and then. And takes the ticket cost from money for her needs. I haven't figured out what yet, but something along those lines. I talked a bit about the canyon cliff face obstacle course, so I don't really need to pop that in here. Sorry, I am just working backwards through lots of random notes that I've taken, because generally all the notes that I put down are just random conversations or events I've thought of that, yes, this is good, this will work somewhere, let's figure out where to put it. I like the idea of Min and Citra have been mapping the city themselves for years. You know, not sort of trusting, you know, official maps. Because, you know, it's a rat warren in there. I mean, I don't know if any official maps could possibly capture. No official maps could possibly capture the rat warren that is the inner city. Yeah, inner city and outer city work better than upper and lower, I think. I'll still probably change them, but I think inner city isn't so bad. I don't really like outer city as much. Shall think on it. Yeah, I like imagining now how the gold and silver city sort of flowing like water over the side of the canyon, and you know, just sort of balcony like things sort of cascading down at, you know, not a full 45-degree angle, a little less than that, but coming outwards. And so the space for the inner city is just sort of, you know, dangling over the canyon sort of thing. I don't know. I might have to. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to describe it during the NaNoWriting process, because I think it'll take me a while to figure out how it works. I'll probably just leave a mark where I want to put city appearance from the outside. Possibly even most city appearance stuff I'll just leave until later drafts, because you really have to stop and think about those sort of things to get the right words to make it look right. And Nano isn't really about doing things carefully, it's about throwing it down as quickly as possible. Let's go back. Yes, that's something I hadn't thought a huge amount about, because I thought Min always seemed, you know, sad but accepting of the fact that she was, you know, in inverted commas, worthless. But she's also a reasonably cheerful person. Cheerful and playful. And so even if she has sort of semi-accepted that, it will hit her sometimes quite hard. So I've got a note here. Every time Min starts to descend into the, I can't be helped, I'm worthless, I'm useless, I'll never amount to anything line of thought, Citra snaps her out of it. Gently and kindly for Citra. Min and Citra have been together forever. Citra adores Min, would do anything for Min. And even though she is in general not a particularly quiet and gentle person in this situation, I suppose she's had some training for this situation. It's happened a number of times, I guess, and she absolutely hates when it happens, so she will do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to bring the happy Min back. Backwards through the notes. I think I mentioned the on the hunt, playing card games. While I getting angry when she always loses. I've got a few more notes here about I've come backwards into the few more notes about the characters. I might just read some of them out instead of popping them down because it's not events as such. I've got Fabriok here. Plays the adventure hero, a smooth talker, says very arrogant things in a very modest sort of way, can occasionally seem a bit lazy and inconsiderate, but at night time he generally takes the whole, wherever they're traveling, it's probably safer for them to travel at night and hide out and sleep during the day. Also better with weather, given it's colder at night and very hot during the day. Well, anyway, in the times when they sleep a long time, he generally takes the whole watch himself and has his body and mind sort of perfectly planned to survive on a certain number of sleep. He probably goes to sleep straight away after they eat when they're on a break and, can fall asleep on command and wake up on command. I've also got here, he's a bit of a charmer and he's a slacker genius. I'm guessing, the type of person who does ridiculously well without trying, which is infuriating. Infuriating, but it's just the way they are. People can't help who they are. A few more things for Lalaya. I've got, she's impatient, clearly. She doesn't like being used. She's probably got inferiority complexes given everything that's happened. I've got her having a particular dislike of Trouse and Briok. And I've got that she takes everything the wrong way. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it, but I've put a note wondering whether Nue should possibly be non-verbal. And I've added here that she's cheeky once she's eventually crept out of her shell. And if she is non-verbal, or even if she isn't, I've got that she would probably scream a lot in her sleep. The poor baby. More notes for Trouse. I've got reserved, unflappable, logical, gentle. I'm not sure if gentle is the right word exactly, but something adjacent to gentle that works with Trouse's demeanour. Okay, this is where I wrote some of the stuff for Citra, being she can be a bit sassy and also impatient. And this is where I put the, she's a stickler for her rules and processes, and there's always the right way to do things, and gets annoyed when people don't do things the right way. I think I already spoke a fair bit about the Liot things I thought of. Night terrors of, oh yes, this poor child. You know, not only what she's been through, but imagining what her future holds, given, you know, she's more aware than anyone else what her fate levels must be. Oh dear, I've had some pretty terrifying visions for some stuff at the end game when she goes into full protagonist mode and everything starts happening at once. I had a few more ideas for Min. I thought it would be sweet if she had a bit of an overcharged cute response. You know, whenever anything's cute, it is all just so cute. I thought it'd be kind of sweet if she's very invested in other people's relationships, particularly given I think she's probably ace. And I've got stuff here related to her curiosity. It's just she's in a position constantly where she just has to know whatever it takes, whether it's knowledge that she has to know, if it's gossip, anything. I've also got I kind of like the idea of just making her a bit of a fangirl. I mean, not just for the reality TV shows, but also for the book series that she likes. And, you know, half the time when she creeps into the library, she winds up reading those again instead of the books she actually meant to read. I think I talked briefly about wanting her to grow things. I talked about that yesterday. I've got here that she is generally a follower until she's not. And I kind of like the idea of having a follower as the main character instead of a leader. And, you know, when a follower is forced to take more of a leadership role. Got here, she's a bit goofy and clueless and playful. Self-worth issues, clearly. And she's probably also very, very patient. So these are all the things I thought of that my brain just could not process properly on character day. They were probably all there, I just couldn't get them down. Okay. I don't think we need to go backwards through these notes. This was trying to get a few things in order. I think we've probably talked about most of the stuff there. Let's have a look. These notes are a terrible size. I need to fix this. Yeah, I think I've got Grand's trying to keep money issues from the kids. Fails miserably given Leot takes it upon himself to start running the finances. I might not mention that one. I'm sorry. I might leave that one to be a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, I've just got, Ryok's been readying the canyon for this kind of rising of sorts. Probably would have only had 2 years, but he would have had help. And so, stocking supplies and fixing up the tunnel systems. We've got tunnel systems using predate cities. Probably made by megafauna. Are they still around? I kind of like the idea of them sort of having to cohabit the tunnels and having to sort of race the worms to their next safe room that they've built off the tunnels or something. That'll be fun. Oh yeah. Some contact from beyond the canyon. I'm not sure if we will, but I like the idea of, of having contact from beyond the canyon, and it not being a huge part of what's going on in the story, but possibly, will help them at the end and give an idea for what will come next, after the story. I'm still aiming it to be a standalone. I don't want to write another book in this series. I don't think it'll need it, but I do want to leave space so people can have a clear idea of what could happen next. And if, for whatever reason this book turns out to be good and people want more could be written, I would just, at this point, I prefer to just have the one book. I want this to be standalone. I've got enough to do already. Sorry, I am still just reading backwards through notes to... That's not really an event, that's just a random aside that could happen in a conversation. I've just got a note here of, and I don't know how it would come about, but Min saying, this is just the way she is, it's nothing special, and Briok countering, isn't it the same for us then? We didn't ask to be born into the privilege of fate. So in that sense, there's nothing special about them either. Oh yes, I had the idea that Min and Citra weren't always a duo, that there used to be 3 of them. So their friend became a chosen one when she was 16. And I had the idea that Liot asked after her when she didn't adapt to the life. She's probably quite ill. Yes, I have this note. Visit. Few ways we can go. Totally brainwashed by the system, or they could get addicted to the lifestyle, could go renegade. Those who are caught and dealt with, or just can't handle it. They're the ones I thought of anyway. To the lifestyle, even if don't agree with the system, and eventually become apathetic. Dear. I think I mentioned having an important scene with Min's teacher just before her routine reading near the beginning. So teacher trying to steel Min for what's about to come. Here it's revealed that she'll probably be taken out of school if it's 0 again and placed in a probably awful job in worse neighborhood than she's already in. Well, worse. That's the wrong word. Worse off neighborhood than she's already in. Teacher trying to intervene on her behalf and get support from, Teachers Association. Thing. Such a waste if she can't be a teacher. Dear. What have we got? Yeah, these are all little ones as opposed to bigger events, just Oh yeah, I don't think I've mentioned how I'm. Have I mentioned how I'm planning to start the story? It is with Min in the process of having broken and entered a library. Lost in reading, and Citra comes to help get out again. Haven't quite decided how. This would have to be a probably have to be a library in the outer city, because I suppose not necessarily. I mean, if she's breaking in, it doesn't necessarily mean that she can't go in there during the day. I mean, she just doesn't have the time, because she's either at school or at the part-time work all of them have to do. I have to think more about that. I suppose it would be kind of cool if she was breaking into it would have to be a small, reasonably unimportant outer city library, but still an outer city library. And if to get out they have to climb across the outside of the city, up the walls. At least here it's not sheer, but it would be sort of flowing, like we're having to go up it would be sort of tiered balconies. I'm imagining things like the tiered rice fields, something a little like that, but stone and steel building. And Citra gives her another self-defense lesson. And I kind of like the idea they run into a patroller. Words are exchanged between him and Citra. Oh, that's right, American English. No C's in American defenses. All S's. Sorry, it would probably be better if I just tried to think off the top of my head of things that I'm excited about adding in. But I just want to check my notes. Big things, are you here? This is just looking over some notes about how when Traus inserts himself into the research into Min and comes to talk to her. Yeah, I've got here that he thought from the code that she'd put in her letters to Liot, he'd thought she was one of their new outside operatives or something, and had only learnt the basics of the code. Or something like that. So I must have written these notes before, thinking maybe it was just something Min and Liot had invented. Okay, so it's not something they invented, it's something that Min would have gotten from a book and taught to Liot. That makes more sense. Definitely makes more sense. I think this is all stuff that I've mentioned in some way before. Even further backwards, how many more are there? No, that's was when I was trying to get some events in order, but there's more down here. Sorry for the quiet. I'm trying to look at... Oh, yes, small thing I thought about Min Leot's parents. I'm wondering if they were a freight driver team and either went, don't know if found dead or went missing. I suppose with the went missing, it would be, it's a canyon. You know, you can't really get out of the canyon. Missing, where did they go? And if they did sort of defect, why would they leave their kids? But I'm not really sure. But I think if they were sort of found dead, if their truck went off the road, Min would have fair reason to fear the canyon. So yes, that's, you know, more things we could play with there. Something to think about, that one. Yes, I think I've mentioned this several times, but you know, wrong researchers wanting to find a way to weaponize Min's fate, eating cells to use against the other cities. I know I've gone into that already. I mentioned the obstacle courses used to get into other cities. Oh yeah, I should probably... I haven't made any notes on the Tree of Life thoughts from yesterday. Folklore. Tree with high fate. I mean, you know, not a huge impact on the story, but it's nice to have folklore in there. Folklore really, really helps flesh out worlds. Oh yes, I did want, because we haven't really talked about what happens to the grandparent as such. We know grandparent imprisoned. The plan was to rescue them at the same time as Min, but I think grandparent insists on staying behind. Knows would slow them down. I know that's fairly cliche, but I think it's something they'd do. I mean, the other option is they come and, you know, they die or have to be left behind. I think this grandparent is more realistic than that. They would stay. And plus, you know, if the grandparent got out too, my head won't work it properly right now, but there'd be some sort of implications of how the escape was planned, maybe if the grandparent came too and not just Min. I don't know. I'll find a way to make stuff make sense. Might not be in the first draft, but eventually. Sorry, still just a lot of the notes I've taken as things along the similar lines, just phrased in different ways. Guess I wasn't sure if I'd written them down yet. Yeah, so I think this sort of comes under something we've written before, but the aim of the resistance is to deprive the cities of their next generation of leaders / tyrants. Increasingly ridiculous rumors about men here, different ones everywhere. I am going to have to think much more about the actual antagonists, aren't I? Because I haven't thought about them a huge amount. And, you know, there'll be a lot of sort of lesser antagonists, or ones with less power, like soldiers and such. I'm not sure if I'm going to be giving any one of them huge roles. I mean, I'm pretty sure the hunter, Lalai, is probably going to be traveling with a team of soldiers, just a small team, so I'll probably get to know them a bit. I mean, they're probably all going to be fairly antagonistic towards her, and, you know, handpicked by people who want her to not succeed. Yeah, because I think they want to build more of a contrast between the liar and Liot, and, you know, use her failure to build up Liot more. Sorry for more quiet. At least the music's nice. Big events in Endgame. I think it's just well, we've talked about bringing forward the big walkout as such, and whatever damage they'll be doing. I haven't decided exactly how that'll work. Various rescues, and poor Nue will go the protagonist, and, you know, fairly horrific things begin to happen. My biggest thoughts are, you know, weather events and converging macrofauna sort of thing. I don't know. I'll think about it more. But I guess just my main thought is when the ultimate chosen one goes full protagonist, all I could think is Avatar state. But something along those lines. But just everything that could go wrong / right will happen. So I'm guessing for her in that situation, she just wants the cities destroyed. And it's coming. Hopefully it'll work. I'll think it out more, but I do want this sort of situation to show that, yes, fate particles are definitely doing something weird. Whether it's fate or not, something is definitely happening with this kid. think I mentioned, you know, a lot of the chosen ones have figured ways to work their fate. So things they know will go either entirely their way or entirely against them. No middle ground. So always have huge number of backup plans. Eventually one will go entirely right. And I do sort of want at least one time, you know, just the most backup plans ever to sneak into a building. I'm guessing this is during end game, probably part of them trying to rescue someone, but then find a back door propped open for maintenance. Oh. Yeah. I've got a few notes here just sort of talking more about Citra's situation. This is less an event and just background detail, I guess. She gave up everything to save Min and escape with her. Now she's scared and feels helpless and useless. The boy who joins the party she finds very attractive, but also resents him because he's much more capable than she is and feels she's stealing her best friend. And sort of also thinks he's into her and also thinks Trouse is into her, and so is resentful towards Min for being oblivious to two guys liking her when, you know, none of that is actually happening. It's just all in her head. And I guess that vaguely leads to something we can talk very, very quickly about, which is tropes. So here it is, the love triangle, or the, you know, non-existent love triangle. Not actually there, but kind of there. I'm just gonna look up not sure if that's the right thing to Oh, some storytelling tropes you didn't know. These things are way too intelligent for me. No, this isn't quite what I'm thinking of. No, these are way too intelligent. No, the things I'm finding are proper, you know, storytelling tropes and techniques, as opposed to the fun, silly things that I'm trying to think of. Let's have a quick look. No, this is things like the hero's journey and 3-act structure. And look, the MacGuffin and the plot twist and the red herring. Do we have any plot twists or red herrings? We know we've got MacGuffins, or at least one MacGuffin, although does Nua count as a MacGuffin? Or are we just being silly? Well, I'll just, you know, write these down just to think about. Include a red herring. Do we have any plot twists? Do we have any plot twists? I have to think about that now. Oh dear. Might look up fantasy tropes and see what pops up. Then I might have to just look up relationship ones or something. Ooh, Writer's Digest, 21 popular fantasy tropes for writers. Let's have a look. Ancient or medieval setting? No. Taverns. I have mentioned a tavern, so let's toss that in there. Tavern. Tavern with gambling and yeah, local hangout sort of thing, I guess. We can have a tavern. Why not? Good versus evil. Well, kind of there, although it's difficult to see any side as pure evil. It's, you know, the system is evil. A lot of the people are, but a lot of the people are good and trying to well, have either defected or are trying to improve things. But yeah, good versus evil, that's kind of there. That's kind of there. Chosen one. This entire story is a trope. Sorry, that caught me by surprise. Don't know how, but it did. Reluctant hero. I guess so. Min's a reluctant hero, isn't she? I suppose Leot definitely would be. Please write it down. Pretty sure that's probably in there. The quest! We have a quest! And side quests. We have side quests too. When I was thinking tropes, I was more thinking, you know, fun, silly things as opposed to, you know, story-shaping ones. Artifacts. Libraries filled with books. Fantastical creatures. Training moments. We've got all of this. I guess it must be a fantasy. How about that? Antagonist turned ally. We've even got that. That'll be Lalaya, won't it? Yes, training montages. They're fun. Well, it's Bria training Min and teaching Min stuff, and Sitra possibly too, but she won't be happy about it. Oh dear. Hidden truth or inheritance. There will be some hidden truths, I guess. A few hidden truths. As such, I'm not going to say what they are. Yeah, for one of the hidden truths, I'm not sure. Not sure if it's impact on the actual story, but it's just still a bit of a wow moment, I think. Hopefully. Or a, well, let's not let this happen moment. Damsels in distress. Orphan hero. Best ever. All hope is lost. The cavalry arrives. These are fun. Yeah, this is a Writer's Digest list for popular fantasy tropes for writers. Yeah, we've got a lot of those popping up. But yeah, not quite what I was after. 101 fantasy tropes for writers. That's pushing it a bit too far, I think. Okay, let's try fun and silly writing tropes. What are some of your favorite fictional tropes? That's a fun one. when someone who's armed to the teeth is caught and has to drop all weapons and divest self of a ridiculous amount of weaponry from all sorts of places, all hitting the ground. It's very funny and dramatic. It'll be funny, but I suppose the only person who'd really do that is Brioc, and I'm not sure how much he actually carries, although this would be a good opportunity to actually show how much he carries, I guess. It'd have to be Brioc. I suppose it could be Lolaya. Actually, it feels more likely it would be her. Or maybe both of them, and it's sort of a showdown to see who can drop the most weaponry. Sorry. Sorry. I suppose this is sort of found family. There are found family aspects here. There are found family aspects, I think. I mean, Citra and Min definitely, and Brioc joins them, and even Trouse is there most of the time, so it's found family. Surprisingly happy endings given dark tones. Yeah, as best as it can be. That'll work. Yeah, let's commit to that now. Happy ending. Commit to a happy ending. I'll go through I'll go through and have more of a look another time. I think of more possible trope-like things to add in. There's a few. This is a post on a writing subreddit from it says 5 years ago that I'm looking at now. I may come back to it and have a browse, because it looks fairly useful. Oh, there's a fun one. Fun too. Oh, this person's got 4 really, really good ones. We've got a character who hates everyone but sacrifices themselves to save their friends and, still insists they hate everyone. That's fun. Sounds very Lolaya-like, who I don't want to die, but she could possibly be in the situation where that could happen. So... to save Rommel. Self-sacrifice while insisting they hate everyone. This person also have villains messing up and being funny and still being compelling. Well, villains messing up, I think Lolaya probably messes up quite a lot. So it feels weird to call her a villain. I suppose technically she is. Just feels really weird calling her one. Morally grey characters are good. I suppose it's quite easy to go into that even without there wanting to be much bloodshed. I think Brioc could be quite morally grey, especially given what he's gone through. I think I prefer Trouse to be very, very on the straight and narrow. I suppose that's another way they not see eye to eye. And this one here is bandaging wounds. I do like that too. It's a hurt comfort thing, I guess. Yeah, I'll go through and look for more ideas maybe on here. I'm enjoying browsing this one. I think we may call it a night soon. I'm not sure, how much progress was made as such here. I mean, at least with the stuff to include, it's a lot of, things I've thought of before, but I think I feel good talking about it. I feel a bit more excited and a bit more energetic. And I think these prompts should be quite useful as we start the planning tomorrow. I'm a little nervous about trying to do the in-depth chapter by chapter planning. I think I will attack it by just putting very, very brief bullet points of what happens in the chapter and then going into as much detail as humanly possible, just as, sounds weird, but imagining in real time and just getting down as much stream of consciousness as I can for it. I'll probably be, I'll be nervous for it tomorrow because it's the first time I'm doing it, but at least I sort of have a lot of part one's notes in order-ish anyway. I'll do my best to find some time tomorrow to try to order my other notes. I'm glad I've thought of a bunch more things to happen throughout the middle of the book, because technically, really, we probably won't need a huge amount of time in Endgame. I mean, I had thought initially that we could do, it could be maybe, 17 chapters per part or something, but that's not really, it's not necessary. I think we should probably spend the most time on the journey, which made me, a little bit worried, given it was probably the one I'd planned out the least, but it's the one we can probably have the most fun with and be the most creative and get them in ridiculous situations. And given I do want them to be almost caught several times and them to have several conflicts with the hunters and, various intrigues going on in the parties and clashing, and of course the all-important training montages and stuff. We'll probably wind up spending most of the time in the canyon. And I will have to think of more stuff with Nuer, because her arrival's just supposed to, throw the whole story and plotline out of whack. Like suddenly she's there, what do we do now? Sort of thing. So yes, Endgame probably won't need a massive amount, particularly given Min will probably be, imprisoned throughout most of Endgame. And I still just want to stick with the Min and Liot points of view. I mean, I think there's still a way she could be in contact with Trouse, because I'd been trying to think of the earpieces or whatever they'd be using. It would have to be something that's, almost impossible to see. So I'm even wondering if it's just some sort of weird technical goo that's been scraped on the eardrum or something, and it's now invisible and solidified there, and, pretty much impossible to take off unless you know it's there and you're very good with a pair of tweezers. So, yeah, I mean, unless it's something Trouse developed on his own, or one of his people developed, which is very possible. Because I do not want them to know it's there, so I need to make it so they don't know it's there. I'll find a way. I mean, suppose on one hand it feels unlikely that these very, very young chosen ones with these loaded schedules find the time to do their own secret technological development and research, but they're chosen ones. I figure they can handle it. Disguise it as something else or some kind of project. Yeah, I suppose one of Trouse's people could have done it as a project and then it's, people did not go ahead with it or something, but they did. Something like that, maybe. But yes, Endgame probably doesn't need a massive amount of time. And I'm thinking I'll probably do a sweet little epilogue. That'd be nice. Sweet little epilogue. Okay. Yes, I am thinking should probably call it a night. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad the stream seems to have gone much smoother today, and I am hoping so much that it's because I upgraded my internet and that it's going to remain smooth for the foreseeable future. That'd be great. Yes, so tomorrow we will start trying to do the in-depth planning. I'm guessing if for whatever reason I find I'm having trouble, I'll just do my best to do whatever I can to get some kind of plan down, even if it's not the plan I'd really want and would probably work best from. We'll pull something together. Okay. So yes, thank you so much again. I think this has been... I think I've felt the best about this stream so far, so hopefully I'm getting used to the process more, and hopefully I'm getting a bit more relaxed. I was even, daydreaming a little bit today about one time doing just a surprise fun gaming stream, not at any given time, but just random. I don't know if I will because I haven't, practiced doing a game while streaming. It feels a little bit sometimes like it would be nice to do something more relaxing than writing on stream. I would like writing on stream to be relaxing, but again, I adore writing, but I've never found it particularly relaxing. It's fairly intensive, fairly hardcore. But yes, even then I'm not sure gaming is particularly relaxing for me. I generally enjoy it when I do it, but I tend to have that same sort of gut punch reaction that I get when I see the red squiggly line with a spelling error when I do anything wrong. It's like if I do something wrong in a game, it's, terror of doing something wrong and getting that reaction. Something that I should probably, get over at one point. Okay. So yeah, probably won't even attempt to do any gaming stuff until after Nano, but it was fun to think about at least. I have a few games in mind if I ever do get to go down that path of maybe a gaming stream or two a week or something. I should probably stick mostly to writing, but yeah, it is a lot. I have a few other ideas, but yes, should probably not talk about those until after Nano. Oops, sorry. Where are we? I got a bit busy, but still listening. No. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're allowed to get busy. You have things to do. We are all very busy and important in our own lives. And I'm not trying to sound sarcastic or anything like that. I am serious. People's lives matter. People matter. What we do matters. You know. Okay. Yeah. I need to get better at figuring out how to finish streams. I don't know why I keep procrastinating. Maybe it's just because I just can't think of a good way to do it, so I just keep going. Okay, well, it's 1 minute past midnight for me. So, good night, or good morning, or good afternoon. A little accident at work, so I had to get on top of it. Definitely fair. I hope everything's worked out all right. I hope everything's worked out and that you're okay. Good night and good morning and good afternoon wherever you are. I hope the rest of your day is lovely. Some closing words and that's it. Yep. I've got a few that I'm trying to stick to, but I keep not quite remembering them right. You as well, you as well. Okay. Let me just turn this off and we will jump over here to the lovely ending screen. Shall see you tomorrow maybe. Thanks again.